icebreaker. Your objectives is to begin speaking before an audience, to discover speaking skills you already have and skills you need some attention. Your time is 4 to 6 minutes. Good luck.
Thank you, Wilma. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Bongani Mabuza with My Timeline, Bongani Mabuza.
Timeline is an actual picture of important events arranged in logical order about history or past things we went through. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, and to our lovely guests and visitors, good evening. I can only imagine what my mother went through on the Christmas Eve, when probably she asked herself a question as to, will I be able to hang on for a few more hours to make it to the Christmas day? And guess what? It wasn't to be. 24th of December is the day I was born. And having been the first boy after the first two ladies, I had the best first-year birthday that probably I have never experienced ever before since then. So I grew up in my community, play outside with any children as they will play, until the point they realized that probably I have grown enough to take responsibility as a child of becoming a shopkeeper. Something that was frustration because I would rather play with my friends out there. It was really frustrating, but over time I have learned to appreciate that, because it was through that moment where I acquired important skills in my life, mathematical skills. Yes, they did come at a cost, because at some point I gave people extra change, at some point I gave them less. It is through such skills that I went through university quite easily to excel, to the point where I could get my university entrance. So I went to the University of Pretoria. And for me, as a challenge of affording fees, I would like to bring also one of the role model in my life, the person who has made an impact, who also managed to pay for my fees, but also was supporting me before that time. It was so unfortunate that in my third year, when she made one of her last trips into Pretoria, coming to visit me at Hatfield, she was sick, which I didn't know, only to learn a few days later when she passed away that actually she wasn't well. To me, that was like she came to say goodbye. It was quite sad, because it was that moment where you feel like you want her to see through your success, to celebrate the achievements with you for what she has done for you. But it wasn't to be. So I continued, got my university degree, and went as far as doing my master's degree. In that process, I also became a junior lecturer at the University of Pretoria. One of the days I was walking on campus with my friend, and as we were walking by, he came across one of her hometown girl on campus. So as they were talking next to me, I just witnessed them. And it was through that moment that I saw something different in that lady. And at that moment I thought, I will really need to help to meet this lady. So yes, it happened, the three of us we met, we arranged to meet for a lunch. But on the day of the lunch, there were a few surprises. One of my friends who completed happened to be at the university, joined us. The lady decided to invite her sister to also join us, probably to assess and give some endorsement, I don't know. You can imagine how uncomfortable I was at that point in time. To cut the long story short, what happened after that was a 7-year-old relationship which was joined by a young boy 2 years to 3 years into it. And that basically brought to me to certain experiences in life, from the moment of catching the cord to watching him going through the early childhood development phases. I think that was one of the amazing moments anyone can experience. I'm talking about those moments where you have irregular sleeping patterns, those moments where you try and sleep, you wish you could tell you what's really wrong with him, and you can't, So yeah, it was such an amazing experience to see the young boy growing. And I remember in recent times I said to him, boy, you are a superstar. And he looked at me and said, Daddy, you are a superhero. And you can imagine how will that feel like, such an unexpected response. So, as in one of the movies that I watched previously, they said, sometimes life will take you upside down so that you can live it with the right side up. And yes, it does feel sometimes that life has its own plans and challenges. It takes you through those moments where your character and patience is tested. It takes you through those moments where you have to make decisions, even if you feel like you don't have to. And even that moment in my life, yes, it did come, that decisions had to be made. And it was so unfortunate because it happened at the moment where I was like, I need to make something about my life. I need to try to plan it so that I can live a much more fruitful and purposeful life with my family. But it wasn't to be. So yes, everything beyond that happened, as it does most of the time. And one of the things I can so hope for in that is that probably it was the life experiences that I have learned so much in it, such that it can develop me to becoming a better man, and hopefully to enable me to becoming the best man I can possibly be. Madam Toastmaster, they say in one of the codes, the difference between possible and impossible is merely a measure of a man's determination. I hope with that, as I proceed into my life, into my journey, that I'll be able to achieve all the goals that I aspire to achieve. And I hope to do so in the presence of such loving people around me. Thank you.